All right. Hello. For some reason, I can't see myself on my own stream preview, but okay, I'm gonna try and fix this. Sorry, this is going to be very scuffed. Um, okay, but we do have a game started. This is very strange. I cannot see myself. Oh. Well, hello. We do have a game started here between Karthik. We have all four games started. So right now we're looking at the UFB match against Duke C in the quarterfinals of the Collegiate Chess League. The winner advances to the semifinals next weekend. And I think for UFB's division, if they finish third or higher, they get a cash prize. So I think it's like third is 250, second is like 500, and first is 750, something like that. But today our B team, as you can see right here, we have Karthik playing board 4. We have Aiden, Mr. Perk, playing board 3. I wonder if Aiden will bust out any more Halloween gambits like he did last week and the week before. We have Andrew, our president, playing board 2, and we have Adam, Lancer F2000, playing board 1. Adam has actually played on A team a few times this year, so we'll see how it goes. On the other team, we have Karam 7474 playing board 1 for Duke, 1900. Also have a 1800, a 1600, and a 1300. Kind of interested to see how good their 1300 actually is. But, okay, let's get to the games. Let's actually watch their 1300 play. Okay. So we have Adam playing black against their 1300. It looks pretty even. Obviously, what Hearts of Fire from Duke wants to do is play h5, trade, queen h6, and use this open file to mate. I don't like that the evaluation bar just went up really high for white. You guys are in the chat. Can you let me know if like the volume is okay and all that? I've never streamed before, so. Okay, white plays h5. The idea is just to take, and then queen h6, and use the rook to support the queen, and mate the king on h8. Adam plays rook h8, which is a good move. It defends everything, but here white can just play h6 and force the king back, and then this rook is stuck in the corner here. Volume okay? Okay, thanks. Yeah, so white does play h6, and then Adam's rook is just stuck in the corner now, which is not great. Which is why the engine is saying +2 for white. I mean, at some point, Adam should play e6 and king e7 to get the rook out. But if white plays well here, Adam might be in a bit of trouble. So white plays queen c3. It's attacking the rook on h8. I would just play e5 here if I was Adam. Okay, rook g8. Knight h3. And why does the engine like black all of a sudden? Because of this. So Adam can play bishop takes e4 with a discovery on the queen. And then once white moves the queen somewhere, then Adam can take on c2. He finds it. Queen b4. Okay, Adam is just winning here. Rook takes c2, king b1, and rook c4 with the discovered check and winning the queen. Okay, so maybe I was worried. This is Aiden's granddad, also known once as Mr. Perk. Okay. Welcome. I don't know if that's a serious comment or not. Okay, well, I guess I was wrong to be worried about the 1300 on the other team. Because Adam is just completely winning now. Let's look at Aiden's game. Aiden is playing the 1800 on the other team. So Aiden sort of has the same plan here as White had in the last game we were looking at. He just wants to play h5, h takes g6, and then use this battery to mate black, which is a little bit difficult to stop if black is not careful about it. Like, black might have to play queen f6 and queen g7 to defend, and then he loses the d6 pawn. So. Actually, let me give me a moment. I'm gonna put the stream link in the Collegiate Chess League Discord as well, in case anybody there wants to watch. Okay, so Adam won his game. So that's 1-0 to UF. Going back to Aiden's game. Okay, black actually found a good defense. Black played rook b7. Then when Aiden played h takes g6, he took back with the f pawn. And this rook now defends h7. Now Aiden has to move the rook back. I would play like rook d2 or something. Oh, rook b5, interesting. So the idea is if rook takes b5, then white just checkmates, queen takes h7. But black can just move the rook to c7, d7, anywhere on the 7th rank. Checking in with Andrew's game. Andrew is playing the 1500 on the other team. Looks pretty even. Not exactly sure why the engine thinks white is better here. Well, I guess because of this pin. Okay, yeah, so Andrew is going to lose a pawn on b7. Also knight e6, and now this pawn is hanging too. So I'm not really sure why the engine likes white. It might just be because of the two bishops. But yeah, now Andrew needs to defend b7. So let's look at Karthik's game. Karthik is up 2.5 minutes on the clock. And yeah, Karthik's pawn structure is not very good here, but he is up 2.5 minutes. So I would, if you take the clocks into account, I would prefer white here. Because it is very hard to just play the entire rest of the game on the 2-second increment. Like with best play, black is quite a bit better here, but if Karthik uses his time well, there's a good chance black will blunder at some point. b6 is a blunder because of e4 trapping the bishop. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. I mean, like black is pretty low on time, so like you blundered already. Karthik's king is a little bit unsafe, so he has to be a little bit careful. But I think at some point Karthik should just be able to play king f2, and his king will be safe. I don't like queen f2. I mean, I don't see why he couldn't have just taken back on f4. And now the king is a little bit awkwardly placed on f1. I would just go king g1, king h2, and then move the rook out. Yeah, Karthik is misplaying this a little bit, but he's still ahead on the clock by a lot, which is good. Okay, now just king g1, move the king to safety. Mate in 5. Why is it mate in 5? Oh, there we go. Nice move by Karthik. And Karthik takes down the top board on Duke C. So UF with a 2-0 lead early in the match. Now going back to Aiden's game. Still pretty even here. I do like Aiden's position a little bit better because the knight is better. This pawn will be weak in the endgame. This pawn will be weak in the endgame. And white doesn't have any clear weaknesses right now. Yeah, like if black, I don't think black can trade queens. Like if black trades queens, then this pawn will get lost at some point. The d6 pawn will be lost. And white just has these two going down the board. Rook b7, why is that a blunder? I don't know, I didn't see it. I don't know why that's a blunder. Now I'm curious, I'm going to turn the engine on. Okay, the engine was saying in this position, knight f6 was the right move. Still not entirely sure why. But Aiden should still be better here. As long as, if Aiden can trade queens, then he'll be winning. Yeah, so queen c1 is the right idea. Queen d7. Yeah, I mean, really there should be no danger here for Aiden. Maybe queen f5 from black or just king a1. Oh, this should be... This rook engine should be better for white, because at some point... Yeah, so Aiden will trade this b3 pawn for the c6 pawn. Actually, maybe Aiden can try to trade and go for the king ending. Okay, he doesn't. But even here, white is the only one that can win here because white has the connected outside passes. And black only has this one passed pawn on the d file. Black does have a more active king though. And we're in time pressure here, so it is anyone's game. I would play rook c3 check to get the rook out, and then b3 to defend the pawn. Exactly. Rook c5, and Aiden wins a pawn. Just king b2. You're threatening rook b5 mate. Rook b5 mate, and Aiden wins. So 3-0 to UF. Now we take a look at Andrew's game, where he is unfortunately losing. But there are still some chances for white to slip up here. Okay, now white is threatening mate on g7 and h7. Okay. Okay, I mean now Andrew gets some activity, but the white king will always escape to d4. So unless white... Oh, what? No! Oh, there's a free rook. There's a free rook. Oh no. Okay. There's a free rook for Andrew and he missed it. Okay. We still have some chances here. I mean, white has made this more complicated than it needs to be. You see the evaluation, it's down all the way to 1.5. Oh, Andrew drops the rook. Well, it was a good effort from Andrew. He defended well, he had a chance to win the rook and just missed it in the critical moment, but it was a good defense. Okay, what did white do here? I mean, all of a sudden this is not winning for white anymore. What happened? How did white lose the rook? I mean, white managed to lose a rook somehow? Oh, white white just let Andrew take his rook. And all of a sudden this isn't winning anymore for white. So Andrew saves the draw. Wow. Well done to Andrew. So that will be, oh. Why is this winning for white now? It's not, right? I mean, what is the ending sign? Wow, h6 is winning for white. I'll show it after the game. But again, this should be it. Now it's a draw again. No. You can see the evaluation bar going up and down. Now Andrew is winning. What is going on? White just hung the rook, and now Andrew is winning. What is going on in this game? I'm sure if you looked at the eval graph of this game afterward, you'd just be up and down the entire game. What a crazy game. So that's going to be a 4-0 start for UF to start the match. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, Andrew's got this one. Swing the rook to the other side. Come on, rook a2. Or that works too. Come on, Andrew, what are you doing? Come on, Andrew. Rook a2. Okay, this works too, and then rook f1. Okay. 4-0 start for UF. Let me update the scoreboard here. .4-0 start for UF as we move on to round 2. Aiden's taking on their top board, Karthik against their board 2, and Adam and Andrew against their lower 2 boards. So Karthik has gotten started right away. Give me a moment to just send a message here. I'm also the team captain, so I have to be in communication with some people. Give me a moment here. In the meantime, we have Karthik's game up. Okay, we're back. So all the games have now started. Karthik has played a Karokon. Looks very solid for him. Andrew has gone for something more aggressive, which the computer doesn't like, but in a blitz game, this might actually be a good choice. We'll see how Black responds to that. Adam is also playing against the Karokon. Adam played the advanced variation against the Karokon, and it looks like Black has equalized already. But it's still anyone's game. And Aiden, of course, is playing the perk. Who would have thought? It looks like a pretty comfortable position for Aiden, too. I'm going to briefly check in to see how our C team is doing. Let's see how they did in the first round. Unfortunately, they lost the first round 3-1, and so far in the second round, it's 1-1. Our C team is actually the #1 seed in Division 8, so they should be favorites in this match. We'll see how it goes the rest of the way. B team is supposed to be underdogs today, but they're up 4-0, so I mean, don't tell them that. Well, look, this position looks very solid for Aiden. Very normal perk structure. The game has opened up a little bit here for Adam. I do like his opponent's position a little bit more than his. This is a free pawn on b2 if his opponent wants it. This is an interesting position for Karthik. What his opponent wants to do here is... Okay, so Karthik finds the right move c4, but what his opponent wanted to do here was take on f6 and after take back, mate on h7. And the issue is if Karthik trades off the bishop with bishop takes e5, then after d takes e5, it attacks the knight and it has to move, and again, there's the threat of mate. So Karthik plays the right move, which is c4, which moves the queen away from this diagonal, so there's no longer the threat of mate. And now Karthik can take on e5. But still, white should take back with the d pawn and kick the knight out. And white should be a bit better here. But Karthik found the right defensive idea there. Yeah, so white plays d takes e5. Right, so this position is a little bit difficult for Karthik because his opponent has rook d6 here. So Karthik should play queen c7 and then try to play knight c5. But white has control of the d file. White has this nice diagonal here. So white is definitely doing pretty well here. Karthik is just holding on. If we look at Andrew's game, this is an interesting position. If Andrew could castle and got the other rook over here, I think he would be a lot better. But Black's bishop on h5 is critical to his defense. Not so much because it stops white from castling, but if white castles, this a1 rook will get into the attack, and that would be very dangerous. So we'll see how that develops. I like how the computer is giving 0.00 here. I wonder if it calculated like 20 moves and there's like a perpetual somewhere. Adam now has a better position because after knight takes g5, in this position, Black, of course, wants to castle kingside, but if black castles right now, then queen h7 is mate. So black decided to play king e7, which is not really a move I agree with. I would play, in this position, I would play g6 first and then castle. But after king e7, yeah, now black's king is just like permanently weak. And Adam should be better here. Queen h7 is a good move. It'll win a pawn either g7 or h5, because if black plays g6 to defend this pawn, queen takes f7. Aiden is unfortunately losing here. Let's see what happened. Aiden played b5, c5 takes, knight takes d4. Knight takes c5, knight takes c6, queen c7. Yeah, and white finds the correct move, which is e5, which opens up this diagonal, so white will have an opportunity to play something like knight e7 check and then win the rook. Or, yeah, and the unfortunate part is Aiden can't even take the pawn here, because then this knight would be hanging. So if I was Aiden, I would probably play like, I really don't know, maybe knight e8. Because also if knight d7 here, then white will get a free check with knight e7 check, and then win the rook. This is a tough position for Aiden. He does play knight fd7. Yeah, like for example, white can just play knight e7 check here, and after king h8, then bishop takes a8, wins the rook. Yeah, and here white is just up a full rook, so we'll see how that one goes. Go back to Andrew's game. Unfortunately, Andrew is about to be down a pawn here. If I was Andrew, I would play a3 right away to prevent the opponent from playing a3. But yeah, I guess it turns out this 1300 on the other team is actually better than 1300, even though Adam beat him very quickly. So if we look at Karthik's game here, Karthik is, I think, losing here as well. Yeah, so unfortunately, UF is losing in 3 of the games this round. We are winning in Adam's game. So if I had to guess a score for this round at this point, I would say 1 point for UF and 3 points for Duke. But still a lot of chess to be played. We'll see. So in this position, Adam's idea is very simple. He wants to get the queen into f6. So right now you can just move the knight and threaten that, which would fork the king and the rook. Another nice move here would be, okay, well, I played queen d3, which is a good move as well. I mean, really, Adam just has like an excellent position here. And this all goes back to black's decision to play king e7 instead of trying to castle. Because this king is just permanently weak here. There's nothing black can do about that. A very nice move for Adam here would be queen e3, trying to deflect this queen. And the idea is if black goes for the queen trade, queen takes e3, we don't take back right away. We play rook takes c7 first and then take back the queen. The rook takes c7 is with the check, so white would win a piece there. Adam plays queen c4, which is a little bit inaccurate. Black can now just play knight e8 and trade off this knight. But the other big thing is black is down to like 10 seconds now. So Adam should have no trouble converting this. So Aiden did lose his game here. Let's look at what happened. 97, Teenage H8 takes. Yeah, I mean, Aiden was just down a rook and then lost another rook. Yeah. That happens sometimes. So Adam has traded down into a winning endgame where he's up 2 pawns. But this is, again, not as clear as it could have been. We see Karthik's game is also finished, and unfortunately Karthik lost as well. So UF is down 2-0 so far this round. It would be big if Adam could pull out the win in this game. I mean, I'm betting with the time situation here, Adam will be able to pull something out. Knight g5 is a good move. F4. Kick the knight out, because the knight is defending the f7 square. So if we kick, exactly. So we kick the knight out, and black can't even move the knight. If black moves the knight, then rook takes f7 is checkmate. Mate in 1, rook takes f7. Very nicely done by Adam in time pressure. And if we go to Andrew's game, Andrew finds himself in another losing rook endgame. But of course, we know he managed to win the losing rook endgame he was in last round, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Andrew should probably move his rook here and try and give checks from behind. But this will be a difficult position to hold. This would be a big result for Duke C if they pull this one off. Because this is their lowest board, the 1300, against Andrew, who is our board too. So, yeah, we'll see how this one finishes off. I mean, hopefully they just have like bad internet connection in North Carolina and he loses on time and yeah, we get out of this round with a tie. Yeah, rook h2 was the only winning move for black there and he found it. Now it should be pretty smooth sailing for black from here. But it was important to get that one win with Adam. So even though UF is likely to lose this round 3-1, we'll still be up by 2 points. So let's go ahead and update the scoreboard here. Yeah, so despite a 3-1 loss in the second round, UFB is still up 5-3 against Duke. Let's check in with UFC to see how they're doing. They're still down by 2 points, unfortunately. They actually won the second round 3-1 to tie the match 4-4. They've lost the first 2 games of the third round. So UFC is in a bit of trouble here. They're the #1 seed in Division 8. But they're going to need a comeback here. Okay, so all the games here have started. A6 here is, of course, a crucial move, because if black tries to play c5 without playing a6, then white can play knight b5 and jump into d6 or c7. Yeah, but this is a very mainline opening. It's pretty even. Black at some point will play b5, maybe take b4, trying to attack on the queen side. But also normally black will pass the king side and white will have opportunities for an attack. h5, knight g5. Adam, for some reason the computer says that Adam is losing already, which is not good. I don't see the exact refutation right away. I doubt black does either. Yeah, I'll be honest. I had to turn on the computer to see this one. And black misses it. The idea was c4 in this position to distract the bishop from the c2 square. But black spends a minute here and doesn't see it. And now Adam is back to even. Aiden is taking on the board 4 from Duke. Yeah, we've seen interesting things from their board 4. I mean, their board 4 played very well for the first half of the game against Adam in the first round, and then just proceeded to blunder his queen. And then he played very well against Andrew in the second round, so it seems like he is much stronger than his rating would suggest. This position here is pretty even. I mean, white will want to play c5 at some point, so if Aiden gets a chance, he should really play b6 to prevent that from happening. This is a pretty comfortable position for black. Here, Karthik's game, again, pretty even. Karthik has the isolated queen's pawn. So normally when you play with the isolated queen's pawn, you want to have as much activity as you can. And in that sense, I would say that white is doing pretty well here. I don't see a whole lot for Karthik. Let's go back to Adam's game on board 1. The computer likes black here, but this is a very double-edged position. Adam will try and attack on the king side, black will try and attack on the queen side, but the center is also closed, so everything will be very slow here. Don't really know how Adam's knight ended up on a4. Don't really like that. I think you should just bring it back to c3 and move it around to assist on the queen side. I don't like knight d2 either. Black has just knight d4 here, and Adam will have trouble defending the c2 pawn. I mean, maybe Adam can try c3 here, but that's also, I mean, just asking for the knight to be trapped. Oh wait, knight d4 also threatens knight e2 with the fork of the queen and the king. So Adam has to respond to that, and then he's going to lose the c2 pawn. And once you lose the c2 pawn, the d3 pawn is very weak too. Knight takes c2, knight b4, bishop b5, and both of those are attacking the d3 pawn. So Adam goes for rook f2. After knight takes c2, black is probably quite a bit better here. Andrew is fortunately down a pawn here. It does look like he has some compensation. Oh, bishop g4 is a free piece. What is Andrew doing? Hopefully his opponent will get confused and not take it. I mean, his opponent is thinking for a while here. Maybe he's scared of something after knight takes g4. Oh no, he takes it. Okay. If we look at Aiden's game, Aiden is a bit better here. And the c4 pawn is weak in the long term, so I like Aiden's position. If Aiden could pull out the win here, that would be huge. Because Andrew and Adam are both losing at the moment. I like rook a8, control the a file. If Aiden can trade queens here, he should be winning, because white's c4 and b4 pawns are very weak. So if Aiden gets the queen trade, then he should be winning here. And also Aiden is up a minute and a half on the clock, which is always important in these games. Once we get to the end of the game, if Aiden still has that time advantage, then that could be critical. So white plays rook e3 here. I have a feeling that white doesn't really know what to do. Just kind of shuffling pieces around. Okay, I mean, now this is a free pawn on c4. So Aiden should just take. Okay, g5 is an interesting move. I guess the idea is to play g4, trade, and attack the king. But white plays c5, which is a good move, which gives white opportunities at counterplay. And now g5 and rook d4 like I don't really like, right? If you're going to play g5 and attack on the king side, then you need to commit to that. And now rook d4 is okay. I mean, white makes a mistake here, so Aiden can just play b takes c5 and win the pawn, which he probably should do. D takes c5 should also be good for black. Okay, Aiden trades. Let's quickly check in on Karthik's game. Karthik is up more than 2 minutes on the clock, but he is down at exchange. Rook e8 should be winning here for black. Queen takes g2 is also a fine move. And knight g3 is winning here. Knight g3 because of the pawn can't take because of this pin. And knight g3 forces the king to move away, and black would win the queen on f3. So Karthik doesn't find it, but this is still a very dangerous position for white here with only 17 seconds on the clock. And Karthik has more than 2 minutes. So Karthik needs to slow down and find the best move. I mean, there's no question that white is winning here, but white has only 17 seconds on the clock. Let's quickly check in with Adam and Andrew to see if they made any miraculous comeback. Adam is actually not doing as bad as I thought he would be at this point. The material is even. Black has a better position, but Adam has done an excellent job coming back. Andrew is, unfortunately, still down a piece. And Aiden is unfortunately losing in this position. The rook is pinned on g7. The pawn is coming. And white can also just play rook c1 and rook to c8. If I was Aiden, I would maybe play queen f4, try to trade queens, or king g8 to try and unpin the rook. And you can see why this g5 move earlier in the game was maybe not the best move. Because especially in blitz games, king safety is very important. Okay, let's take a look at Karthik's game. Karthik still has the time advantage, but his opponent is still better. If I was Karthik, I would play bishop b8, queen c7 and try and get something going here. So it looks like we're worse on every board. The time situation will hopefully save us, but we shall see. Okay, Karthik plays queen c7. Rook d4, trying to remove the defender of the bishop on d6, which is the knight. Nope. White just gives the exchange back, and all of a sudden, it's even for Karthik. And we're in an equal ending, and Karthik is up 40 seconds on the clock. So this position looks very promising all of a sudden. Aiden is unfortunately getting checkmated here. Yeah, nothing black can do to stop checkmate. So that's 2 wins in a row for Duke C's fourth board, which is a little bit shocking. So Adam manages to save the draw on board 1, which is a great result. But unfortunately, we are down on some of these other boards. Aiden does get checkmated on board 3. Andrew is losing on board 2. So we'll see if Karthik can get a result on board 4. Should be a relatively even endgame. But I do think white is better here because of the more active king. Yeah, and unfortunately white is winning now. So it looks like UF is going to lose this one 3.5 to half and be down 1 point going into the final round, which is not the ideal situation to be in. But not for the 4-0 win in the first round. It would be a much more dire situation. Yeah, and unfortunately Andrew loses on board 2. Karthik is going to lose here on board 4 as well. So UF will be down 6.5, 5.5 going into the final round. So UF needs 2.5 points to tie the match, 3 points to win it, and Duke needs just 2 points to win the match. It'll be an important final round. I mean, unless Karthik magically gets stalemated here. Okay. Let's update the scoreboard after round 3. So 6.5, 5.5 for Duke going into the last round. Last round, we have the board 1s of each team playing, the board 2s, the board 3s, and the board 4s. So these are the most rating even matchups. Again, UF needs 2.5 points to tie the match, 3 points to win the match. So we'll see. Important final. I didn't expect us to be in this situation after winning all 4 games in the first round. But I guess it happens. Let's check in the C team to see how they're doing. C team is also down 6.5, 5.5 going into the final round. I'm going to see if I can pull up the C team games as well. All right, so we have all the games started. Both UF teams are down 6.5, 5.5 going into this final round. Let's take a look at the C team games first, actually, since they started earlier and they're going to be closer to finishing. Ethan, who is playing black here, is unfortunately losing in this position, just down a piece. Fortunately, Devin is also losing in this position after knight takes a8. He'll be down. Oh, well, white doesn't play tonight. White doesn't take the free rook. So it's even in this position. We'll see how that works out. Igor is... What an interesting position. Igor has 3 pieces for a queen and is actually better in this position. So if UFC ends up coming back, you might have to give this one the brilliancy prize. And Thomas is worse on board 1, but still a lot of game to be played. We check back in with the B team games, starting with board 1. Adam is playing sort of like a perk-like structure. Not exactly sure why the knight is on e5 and not the pawn. If we move to board 2 with Andrew, looks like it came out of a sort of like a scotch sort of thing. Looks relatively even. White is a bit better here because of the idea to play f5 and f6 at some point, which white does. And looking at Aiden's game on board 3. Again, pretty even. I think Aiden is better here. Once we kick this knight out of f5, we'll have the opportunity to plant our bishop on d6, which should be a nice long-term advantage for Aiden in this position. And board 4, Karthik. Also an even position as well. Karthik is down a pawn that has nice compensation. You know, the knight is coming to c4, attacking d6. Black is undeveloped here. I don't know what this knight is doing on h5. So going back to the C team match, unfortunately Ethan lost on board 4. And that means that our C team is now down 7.5 to 5.5. And they can only afford to give up half a point from the remaining 3 games. Unfortunately, Devin also lost as well. So that's it for the C team. They're down 8.5, 5.5 now. Impossible to come back. It's a bit of a disappointing end to the season for the C team since they finished the regular season as the #1 seed in Division 8. They got a first round bye, so they don't have to play in the wildcard round yesterday. But yeah, an unfortunate end to the season for the C team here. We are very proud of them for the first place regular season finish. Going back to Adam's game. Adam, it looks like, is still pretty equal here. White is going to get the knight into c6, which is going to be annoying. We'll see how Adam deals with that. Andrew is unfortunately also worse here. White succeeded in putting the pawn on f6. But it's not the end of the world. I would probably just take. And after takes back, move the king to h8, move the rook to g8, and move the rook up to g6 and try to solidify. Board 3, Aiden has traded into a pretty even endgame. Not too much for either side here. Black does have the idea of queen h4, which can be annoying. I would think Aiden wants to get his king to safety on maybe with a3, king d3, king a2, something like that. And then find a time to push f5. Igor won on board 2 for the C team, which is a great result, but unfortunately a little bit too late for the C team. If we check back in with Karthik's game, Karthik is still down a pawn, but he has excellent compensation. This knight on d6 is doing very well. Karthik plays a5, supplanting the knight on b6. Checking back in with Adam's game. Adam is still worse in this position, but he is up 2 minutes on the clock. So if Adam can just survive the next 5 to 10 moves, I would say he'll have excellent chances in this game with the clock situation. So, I mean, the main boon of White's position here is this c6 pawn, which is defended by the bishop. And it's really just a thorn in Black's position. Not sure I like e5. White can play bishop g5 here. b4 is also a good move. b4 just traps the knight. So Adam's position is unfortunately not looking great here. We check back in with Andrew's position. Andrew has actually done a good job defending this. He's managed to play g5. He's shuffled his king and rook over. And actually, I think Andrew is better here because this e5 pawn has turned into more of a weakness than a strength. Something like rook e8 would just be very good. Okay, rook g8 is fine. At some point, I would like to see Andrew get his knight somehow over to the queen side and more involved. Something like knight c4, target me e5 with more squares to jump into. Aiden is going for the win here. Black has won a pawn, but Aiden can just play king b3, and I think you should be okay. And Black is losing some pawns here, so the computer likes Black here, but I think that's with most accurate play. And yeah, I like those from Aiden, putting Black under pressure. In a must-win situation. So queen d1 check, I think just king a3. White is threatening this c5 pawn and also this g7 pawn. Yeah, so if we check into UFC's match, it is now final. The score is 9.5, 6.5 in favor of Temple University's B team. So congratulations to them. Fortunate end to the season for UFC. But we're very proud of what they've done this season, finishing with the #1 record in the regular season, earning a first round bye. Just unlucky today. Now, in UFB, all 4 games are still going. Wow, Aiden is going king a4. I wonder if he might want to go king b5 and like start attacking this pawn, which is interesting. I mean, Aiden is going for it. He knows that we need some wins this round, and he's going for it. Andrew is still doing well in this position. He's up on the clock a little bit. Adam has managed to equalize the position, actually, and he's still up on the clock by 20 seconds. So every game is close here. Karthik is worse here, but he's up on the clock as well. So every game is close. Every game. Let's check in with Andrew's game. Just seconds left on both sides. Unfortunately, Andrew went for a incorrect sacrifice here, and he's getting mated on the back line. So UF needs, there are 3 games going, and UF needs 2.5 points out of those 3 games. Let's check in with Adam's game here. Adam is better here, but he needs to be active. Just king g8 or king h8, and Adam should be winning. Adam just needs to find queen c5 with the idea of queen g1 mate, and he's going to win. Queen c5. It should be winning for Adam. Adam can just promote d1 queen. Okay, free knight as well. Adam should win this game. Unfortunately, Karthik. Adam loses on time. Unfortunately, Adam loses on time. Karthik loses his game as well. Aiden, unfortunately, checkmates himself, trying to win the game. A4 cuts off the only escape square for the king, and A6 was mate. So unfortunately, UFB loses all 4 games in the final round, which you see happen sometimes when teams need to come back from a deficit in the last round, because the players will try and play for a win, and in doing so, they play more aggressively, maybe some more dubious moves, make some more mistakes, and may end up losing their games, which is the trade-off that you have to make in exchange for a more dynamic position in which you might have more winning chances. So after starting so well with 4 wins in the first round, UFB can only get 1.5 points from the remaining 12 games, and unfortunately loses the match to Duke C 10.5 to 5.5. Yeah, good fighting spirit. I mean, UFB went for it in the last round. Everyone was playing aggressively. Everyone was going for the win. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So this means that UFA is the only team still left in the playoffs. UFD lost in the wild card round yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, UFC lost a close one to a Temple B team, 9.5 to 6.5. And after starting so well, UFB also loses 10.5 to 5.5 against Duke C in the quarterfinals. UFA will play their quarterfinal match tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm sure Andrew or Aiden or Adam or somebody will be on this channel to stream that. So tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. if you want to watch UFA's quarterfinal match. But other than that, I think I'm going to call it a stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I turned on the VODs on this so we can upload this to the YouTube channel afterwards as well. But hey, Andrew. I'm just about to log off. You guys played well. I didn't think you would only have 5.5 points by the end of the match after starting 4-0, but I guess that happens sometime. Yeah. All right. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Two disappointing results, but good fighting spirit from both of the UF teams.